3 Republican senators signed onto a letter opposing raising the debt ceiling without budget reforms, and 217 members in the House voted for that bill to raise the debt limit with cuts to spending. Does the White House consider all of those members to be dangerous MAGA Republican extremists?
Do they understand what the cuts that they're voting for is going to do? That's what, and this is not, okay, but this is not just, this is their constituents. This is what they voted for.
And those constituents that they're voting on behalf of have said that they're concerned about their retirements, about the effects of inflation, and those members represent more than half of the country in the House. I mean, that's the majority of districts in the country, that they're voting on behalf of those constituents who are expressing concern about where the economy is. So I guess, how can the White House continue to use messaging calling this the Default on America Act and paint this legislation in such a way without having a conversation about the budget when you've got half the country saying that they want that conversation?
So House Republicans are threatening a first ever default because they want to hold the American economy hostage, because that's what they're saying that they want to do by threatening a default.
Their bill would raise the debt limit. They passed a bill to raise the debt limit. So
and I hear you, but they are connecting passing whatever this debt limit to cuts, 22% cuts to veterans.
The bill doesn't have any appropriations in it, actually, and the speaker has, ruled out a number of those things, including defense, veterans benefits, senior entitlement programs. I mean, you've had Mitt Romney saying that there has to be a conversation here. Is he a MAGA Republican extremist?
What I'm saying is House Republicans have been very clear. They voted on a bill that's going to cut programs that are very important to American families.
Part of the debt limit talks, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce today called for an agreement that includes discretionary spending caps. Does the White House see all spending caps as a negative, or just the spending caps that are part of the House GOP bill?
So I'm going to be very clear here. The president's going to have a conversation with the 4 leaders, as you all know. That's going to happen in a couple of hours at 4 p.m. local time, clearly. And we're going to stay focused on what Congress needs to be doing here. Their congressional duty, which is to prevent a default. That's what we're going to be clear about.
Given the conversation that is happening today, that it is not negotiations, as you've made very clear, how is the president going into this? How is he viewing success in this meeting? What would we consider to be a successful meeting? Is it simply just conveying his message to them and having them receive it?
I mean, look, what we convey as success. I mean, people have asked, well, will the president give Speaker McCarthy an off-ramp, an exit strategy? The exit strategy is very clear. Do your job. Congress must act. Prevent a default. That's what a success, and that's what he's expecting from Congress.
The speaker says the president is ignoring the problem.
The president is not ignoring the problem. We have the 4 leaders are going to be here today at 4 o'clock to have this conversation. The president's going to make himself very clear. The president has been clear since February. Super simple. They are manufacturing a crisis.
Been talking today about 2 subjects where Congress hasn't acted. One is immigration, and you're saying we'll use all the tools available to us because Congress refuses to act on the border. They also so far haven't acted on the debt ceiling. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what will happen if they continue to not act and we get closer to the deadline, which could be, of course, as early as June 1st or as late as August. Well, the president, does he think he has any tools to use if Congress continues to not do his job? Because it's not clear that Speaker McCarthy can really, right? That he has a lot of leeway in his caucus.
Well, that's for Speaker McCarthy to speak to. I can't speak about the leeway and the pull. I know. I hear you. You mentioned Speaker McCarthy. I can't speak for him. I can speak for the president, and it is Congress's job. And I get your question, Josh, but this is literally their constitutional duty. They take an oath, and this is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to